Hello, Smite fans. Welcome to our second and final set of the night, and our final set, week number 4, Alpha Sydney taking on their old foes, Avant Garde. Can they get some redemption from last split when they fell down to Avant Garde in the final week and cost themselves a spot at LAN? We'll have to see. We're going to head into picks and bans pretty quickly in this one because I know we're all desperate to get into the action here. So let's get straight to it. Alpha Jackal, what do you want to see from Alpha Sydney to take it to Split 2 champions Avant Garde?
Focus onto Rob Diggity and iDivine. Both of them have been absolutely fantastic this split. L Chuckles, he's shown some weaknesses, especially up against aggressive solo laners like Ravana and Erlong Shen, so look to pick up one of them for Alpha Sydney. On the side of Avant Garde, they should almost certainly be looking at Swifty. He's been the pacemaker for Alpha Sydney throughout the entirety of the split. Playing Neath in a couple of games, Kronos in a couple of others, and really just been a dominating factor. So the mid lane matchup is where I'm looking at for this set.
I think as well, you've got to pay some respect to Liquid Renegade on the side of Avant Garde. Done a lot of work out of that jungle. Has shown a massive improvement since last split. You know, LAN really has proved to be a catalyst for this team. Now putting themselves firmly in the top tier of OCE Smite. First bans coming through. Amaterasu and Ratatoska banned away by Alpha Sydney. Freya and Susano away by Avant Garde. I do like the Freya ban away there, taking that one away from Rana Barana, who, along with Swifty, has been known to carry on the side of Alpha Sydney.
And the respect Amaterasu ban against Avant Garde, because L Chuckles and Liquid Renegade will both play this Amaterasu happily. And I honestly think Amaterasu's best position is in the jungle, where she can get the most use out of her Benevolent Sora and just influence the map early on, when she really is something difficult to deal with the silences and the slows coming out from her Divine Blessing. But Jinwei going to be the pickup here for Alpha Sydney. Avant Garde, response by them. They should have been picking an ADC right now. With very early Sylvanas pick, however, comboed with that Erlong Shen.
Yeah, I like the Erlang Shen. Just get something that Chuckles can play. A lot of pressure in the solo lane as well. I like the Sylvanas for the heals. So, you know, I like this comp thus far from Avant Garde. Kronos and Serket picked up here for Alpha Sydney. I was just going to say the Jingwei is kind of a pick that can go either way for Avant Garde, and Alpha Sydney could look to kind of hold their mid lane pick off until the next picking phase. We're going to go ahead and get the Kronos here very early. So a very late game team comp coming out from Alpha Sydney, and now Cupid picked up by Avant Garde.
So we get to see the second showing of Cupid this split and see just how... Oh, it's the third one. Oh, my mistake, but it's time to see how Rob Diggity performs on it. And Alpha City coming up with a response for it. Odin going to be taken away by Avant Garde. A smart ban there. If you're drafting a Sylvanas, you're drafting a Cupid, and you're drafting an Erlong Shen who don't have leaps, you need to ban away that Odin to really make sure that your heals are as effective as possible. Riot should take it off the table, but already the Serket there for the anti-heal from Alpha Sydney. It's a good draft by them for the jungle pick.
Yeah, but the two healers coming out from Avant Garde, you know, unless the poison spreads, you're not going to get a heap of anti-heal out of that Serket. You definitely need to itemize around that healing composition coming through from Avant Garde, so I'd like to see some Pestilences and some Weakening Curses coming through from Alpha Sydney. Vulcan and Raijin taken away here by Alpha Sydney, two very high win percentage mid-lane mages taken off the board, taken away from iDivine. Has left him open a Janice, though, if he wants to play it. Bologna picked up here by Avant Garde, and an immediate response. Sun Wukong pick here for Alpha Sydney. I like this one. It's going to give KO a bit of pressure here in the solo lane. Going to give him a bit of wave clear up against that Erlang Shen. He doesn't really necessarily need to box the Erlang that early on. He can just clear the wave and then stay safe against a very aggressive solo lane in Chuckles. And that Bologna is going to be going into the jungle for iDivine. Athena picked up here for Tori Skies, and there's the Janice pick I was talking about for iDivine. A very powerful mage, a very mobile mage for Avant Garde to counter the global presence coming through from that Athena that Tori Skies is playing.
We're going to head straight into game, and I like this. I like the Sun Wukong pickup from KO, because with Liquid Renegade and El Chuckles both picking up warriors, you don't know exactly which one's going to go where. So pick up this Sun Wukong, which does well against both Erlong Shen and Bologna, means that whichever one goes into the solo lane or whichever one goes into the jungle, you are going to be safe either way. Bit of a cheeky start potentially coming out here from Avant Garde as they look for an invade with that double warrior composition.
And they have a Wrath online as well. Slicing KO, they're actually choosing to stay here KO uses his magic cudgel here. Chuckles very happy to fight here. Slicey taking a lot of damage. Chuckles taking some damage as well from the blue buff. Chuckles taking low. Slicey dashes through, but he takes so much damage here. And now Avant Garde still going in here. They still want this kill. Liquid Renegade healing up with that Scourge, doing a lot of damage. KO do what they can. It's ring around the rosy here. Round the speed buff. Chuckles doing some damage. Dash through from Slicey. Chuckles take a low. Magic cudgel comes through. Will the blue stone pendant be enough? No, it won't. Chuckles manages to walk away. Alpha Sydney keep themselves their blue buff.
Well, dual lane, there's some fights going on over there as well. Stories, guys, actually going to be stunned by the hard bottom, pulled straight in. This is going to be first blood over here on this dual lane. The sprint's been activated, but Toys, guys, going to fall down to the minions.
It was one archer left. One archer was left. He used the sprint as well. And that is a first blood there for Avant Garde. But look at Chuckles and Liquid Renegade. They've come back to this speed buff. They took a wave. They're back here now. Swifty's rotating in, as well as Idivine. Swifty uses the time rift there. Who gets the speed buff? It's going to be Avant Garde. Slicey still level 1, but a portal from Idivine saves it for now. Chuckles secures the kill, though. Swifty taken low as well. Avant Garde looking for the kill onto the Chronos. Can they secure it here? No, they can't. The unstable vortex hit, but not enough damage to take down the Chronos. Speed buff successfully invaded by Avant Garde. Slicey is still level 1.
The reason that they got that speed buff invade off so successfully is because on the first attempt, they forced Slicey to use the Wrath, which means there was no secure there from Alpha City. They were fine invading that. They were fine taking a lot of damage there because they knew they were going to hit level 2, get their second ability to line and start healing, and put immense pressure onto Slicey. As a Circuit, you want to get ahead and you want to start snowballing. He's been put so far behind already.
He didn't even use the Wrath on the first attempt on the speed buff to get to secure the blue buff for KO, but Avant weren't even pressuring that anymore. So there's a misplay there, if anything, from Slicey, and that's given Avant Garde a decent advantage here in the early game. Dual lane, we see a little bit more aggression coming up from Gruff and Rob Diggity, but countered nicely by Alpha Sydney. Taurus, guys, takes the damage. Gruff going to be happy to heal up here with his Sylvanas. This very sustain-oriented lane here coming up from Avant Garde matches up very nicely against Alpha Sydney.
I mean, Slicey didn't even use the Wrath to secure the blue buff. He used it to stun Liquid Renegade to then get all 3 dashes of his Deathbane onto him to do as much damage as possible. Through space of time comes out. They're looking for a killer to the mid lane. Swifty low. Swifty dead.
Oh, but just. He nearly avoided the damage there. I mean, there was not much hope of getting out, but he juked the damage from Liquid Renegade very nicely. Idivine's level 6 and Slicey is level 3. At this point in the game. Double level advantage as we head towards 3 minutes. Slicey's still level 3. You know, you mentioned the Circuit needs to snowball, and she is being stopped right now.
Well, this is exactly the opposite of what you expect as a Circuit. You expect to be the ones putting out the pressure, putting out lots of kills left, right, and center, not the ones being killed, being pretty much slaughtered in this early game. They need to compose themselves to Alpha City. As a blink comes out for Gruff, forces purification from Rana Barana, and Alchemist feels the love as well as left-hand side. This is probably going to be a kill as El Chuckles gets a solo kill onto KO.
Gruff gets a blind pull there, well, raw pull I should say, onto Rana Barana, but Rob Diggity was getting aggressed on by Tori Skies, so Tori saves his lane partner there, but Chuckles gets a kill, and I want to take a look at their builds. Both Chuckles and Liquid Renegade have gone the attack speed boosts here, so very much wanting to get a lot of these basic attacks down onto their opponents here, rather than necessarily raw ability damage.
This tells me that they're going to be going into early keen size just to combo into that a little bit better. They could even look to go into an Executioner, could one of them. Then recognize that the speed buffs and blue buffs are going to be respawned here. Slicey going to get rooted there and going to be forced to use his Deathbane defensively rather than for damage.
There's the Athena ultimate being channeled onto KO. Chuckles in that turtle. Runs away from the damage. Tori Skies looks to dash here, but not going to find it. Idivine hanging around over the wall. Through space of time being channeled. Hits Tori Skies, but doesn't do enough damage. It hits Slicey and KO as well. KO up in the Somersault Cloud. Liquid Renegade doing damage, but stunned out nicely by Swifty. He dashes away here. Magic Cudgel doesn't land. Liquid Renegade just barely manages to get away. And as well as that, I want to take a look here at the blue buff. It was stolen by the Through Space and Time.
That is... No,
painful.
This is, yeah, it's painful to watch. It's painful to see as Alpha Sydney. As El Chuckles goes aggressive once again, comes a 2-man taunt. As in comes Gruff. KO taking solo the Wisps. Looking at him. It is his kill. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Tori Skies now under the tower being aggressive on more dot damage from Gruff, but Chuckles says, I can't let you get a double kill, Gruff. You're the support. This one's mine.
He's got 2 kills already. Just let the true carry of the team get the kills. He may actually fall down here. Circuit comes in, gets the Last Breath ultimate, and that is going to be a kill. The poison spreads there to El Chuckles, but he's taking so much damage to return kill in an instant.
Juggles gets the kill there again. All right, now I'm 4-on-1, feeling myself now 2-level advantage in this lane, almost 1,000 gold. So this is my lane now. I can just start rotating. I can start influencing the rest of the map. I don't need to worry about my lane anymore.
Well, Runabran and Rob Diggity, they're trading out ultimates. The Fields of Love forces out the airstrike, taking a lot of damage from the hard bomb was Runabran. He's going to get back to lane pretty quickly because of Jingwei's passive, but it's still a lot of pressure to be under as a Jingwei.
So Rob Diggity, we could see here, is going for the same build that Maxim went yesterday, the Death's Toll into the boots, rather than going for a Transcendence here. So Rob Diggity looking to take a lot more, maybe, of these one-on-one fights than trying to look to get his abilities down.
Oh, is this going to be an early Gold Fury from Avant? They're suddenly gesturing towards it. They have the Wrath on Liquid Renegade. And do they know that the Wrath is still not for slicing? They'd have very good time as if they do, because it was used on that blue buff. Gold Fury being started, Gold Fury being taken down and killed already by Avant. Alpha City knew it went down, but they just couldn't get into position in time.
Rob Diggity hasn't backed yet. He's got 2,500 in hand. He's a very rich little baby running around there in the duo lane.
He's saving up for kin size. First back, full kin size, easy.
Alrighty, so we're hitting 6 minutes and 20 in the game, 7-1 kill advantage for Avant Garde in the grass. 5,000 experience, 3,600 gold for the boys in the lightest shade of blue in this game. Gruff being aggressed on here, knock up onto one as Slicey hits him with the Deathbane ultimate. Oh my goodness, so much damage from Liquid Renegade. The poison has spread onto the Bologna. Roma Invicta picks up the Circuit. In return, a 1-for-1 trade. No mana left available for Liquid Renegade and Divine, but Tory Sky's looking for more onto the Bologna, but just can't reach him in time before he gets under the tower. Swifty looks for more here and forces Liquid Renegade to stop his back, but not going to be enough to kill the Bologna here. Divine forced to try and defend this lane with very, very low mana.
Solo lane is making their rotation as well, but El Chuckles with the 2-level lead over KO means that Sun Wukong, I mentioned that he has a good matchup against the Erlong Shen. It's just not happening anymore because of the level disparity. He's already been forced to go into the Reinforced Greaves rather than into the Warrior Tabai, and you see how much El Chuckles is hurting him still.
Very one-sided match, this one, like we saw last time between Legacy and Royalty, but this is not what we expected going into this one. You know, despite the fact that Avant won land and Alpha Sydney were in the relegations process and came dangerously close to not even making back into the OPL, they split in week number 1 of this split. And, you know, last split as well, they matched up very well with Avant Garde, but Avant just looking like they've stepped up to a whole new level here.
It's a joy to see, especially. They had some troubles in the previous 2 weeks of the split, not really performing to the best of their abilities, but now they looked back to their glorious best. And Alpha City, they've had no answers for it so far. They've managed to get a couple kills onto Gruff, but Gruff's okay dying. He's expected out as a low mobility Sylvanas.
Tier 1 tower being actually a tier by Alpha Sydney. Liquid Renegades here. They could potentially find a kill onto him, but Slicey and Swifty say, nope, we don't want any of this, and they go away. Rob Diggity contesting the red buff here against Slicey, uses the Fields of Love. There is the ultimate from Slicey as well. Blink through from Gruff. They're looking for the Circuit through space of time used by Divine as well to get the rest of the team over. Roma and Victor over the wall. Roma destruction on to Slicey. Tory Sky's pulled in by Gruff as well. Brilliant pull there. Rob Diggity, Divine as well, trying to get the kill, but an ultimate comes through from Tory Sky's just in time to save himself. But now Avant are the ones on the attack. Avant looking for the tier 1 tower on the left hand side. The pin comes through from Chuckles. Can he find it? The turtle comes through. The turtle gets the destruction down onto Tory Sky's. Rana taken low. Airstrike back onto his tier 2 tower. And now Avant going to take this tier 1 on the left, but Swifty and KO doing nice work here. They should get 2 towers for this.
It's a good trade here for Alpha City. It's trading out 1 tier 1 and your support for 2 tier 1s of your own. Possibly even a tier 2 if Swifty keeps on pushing.
Gruff.
Tower gets a kill onto Gruff. Come on, Gruff.
It wouldn't be a game if Gruff wasn't top deaths on his team. It wouldn't be an OPL match. In fact, he's all the deaths on his team. You know, the true support. He's the true support.
He dies even when he doesn't need to die. He enjoys death.
He's the hero we deserve, and also the one Avant needs right now.
They obviously don't need him right now if he's dying to tower.
Oh, well, there you go. So he's the hero they deserve, but not the one they need right now.
He is Batman.
Gruff is Batman. That's brings a very funny image to mind for anyone that knows what Gruff looks like.
Well, unfortunately, I don't. Maybe next line I will. Who knows?
Think Gollum. Think Gollum out of Lord of the Rings.
Oh god.
There you go. So you can imagine why someone like that saying, I am the knight, is pretty hilarious to me. Liquid Renegade slams down onto Rana there, uses the Persistent Gust, but doesn't hit Liquid Renegade. Tori's guys taunts no one in there. But now Avant-Garde look to take this mid-tier 1 tower. If they could take this one down, then it'll be a good trade, considering they got the left tier 1, and Alpha City got the 2 tier 1s in the middle and right-hand side from Avant-Garde. But Avant just looking to pressure here, perhaps looking to catch someone out.
And Doom Orb is already up to 30 stacks on iDivine, and Avant-Garde they're grouped up as a 4. iDivine just in the backs, getting those back copies and starting to group up as a 5, but the bait has been set, and the trap has been sprung. Tori's guys receiving a knock-up. Good lord, Swifty already forced to rewind.
Rana was hit by the through space of time. It took a decent chunk of his health. Rob Diggity actually forced about half health, but the sustain coming out with these hearts and with the Sylvanas as well means that Avant-Garde can really pressure this. There's no anti-heal on the side of Alpha Sydney other than that Serket ultimate, and that's really hard to counter. A siege here, Roma Invicta over the wall. Liquid Renegade dealing damage. Good taunt there from El Chuckles. Tori Skies comes slamming down with the Defender of Olympus. Liquid Renegade taking a lot of damage here. Airstrike just off the mark, and Liquid Renegade managed to walk away. iDivine picks up Slicey. Avant-Garde getting some nice pressure here. They got to kill KOs here though, doing some damage to Liquid Renegade. Oxform as well. Rana taken low, but not enough for a kill quite yet. Avant-Garde still getting the pressure down.
And Liquid Renegade, he needs to back it because he is just too low to stay and get the sustain. But the rest of them, they are healing up, they are constantly sieging, and that is the true strength of this composition. And they are feeling it enough for Sydney as the dive continues. The tier 1 tower eventually falls. It was forced, it was brutal, but it is won by Avant-Garde.
They trade out towers now, eventually with Alpha Sydney. They take both mid tier 1 towers are down. They lost their duo side tier 1. Sorry, they took the duo side tier 1, but lost their solo tier 1. So, you know, Avant-Garde still getting a nice lead here. 4,600 experience, 3,800 gold. So, you know, they've got a little bit of an advantage over the last couple of minutes, but not much. The kind of snowball has slowed a little bit for Avant.
Now, I want to see Alpha City pick up some more anti-healing in their relics. And if they need Tori Skies to pick up a curse, Slicey has to pick up Purification.
Oh, Tori
Skies.
Go
through space and time. They're, yeah, pretty much dead. Goodbye.
Through space of time on the mark, Heart Bomb on the mark, and the Bludgeon as well. And look at that, convenient portals for Liquid Renegade and Rob Diggity to get straight into the Gold Fury pit. That is beautiful. Gold Fury can't be much of a contest coming out. Slicey's in the mid lane. He could come over, but it's just going to be too late. Instead, he heads to the solo side of things. Avant, this is a free Gold Fury if I've ever seen one.
I mean, he doesn't even have Wrath online to Slicey, so absolutely no reason for him to be over here to try and contest this. It goes down again. Avant-Garde take the second Gold Fury 13 minutes into the game. 5,000 gold in the lead. Now, where have I seen that before?
Probably the last set is what you're thinking. There actually invades Chuckles' speed buff. So, a bit of retribution there for Chuckles' early aggression onto his own speed buff. But Chuckles is not going to be too worried about it at this point. Does have a Breastplate of Valor online. KO takes some damage here. Gruff doesn't get the roof, but does force out the Somersault Cloud. Mid lane, Swifty as well was forced to use the rewind. Couple of ultimates burned on the side of Alpha City for relatively little in return from Avant-Garde.
I mean, they didn't have to use any ultimates to Avant-Garde. The only one that is down is that through space and time, which we saw go onto that left-hand side. So it's just pure ability and basic attack damage that's causing these ultimates to be forced here for Alpha Sydney. And it's looking a bit dire for them. They still have their opportunities to get back into the game, but KO, without a Somersault Cloud, gets rooted, gets knocked up, and is getting bursted down here by all Chuckles and Gruff.
There's the 9 turns blessing to tournament into just some more damage. Chuckles picks up the kill, walks to the tower, takes a couple shots, but not going to be too worried about that one. They should be able to pressure down this tower here. Chuckles is going to be doing a fair amount of damage to the tower with his current build, and I believe, does his spot weakness give extra damage to structures?
No, it does not. No, it wouldn't do, because the only thing that damage modifiers will not affect it, just basic attack modifiers like Freya's Pulse will make sure that she can attack it from range.
Okay, because I know Eastern Armies 1 actually does give extra damage to towers, so I was
well, that's because it changes the way how basic attacks function. It goes from 75-25 split on the way in and the way out to 100% on the way there. But Slicey jumps in and drops Athena into the middle of nowhere, and they're already getting turned on though. El Chuckles eats Serket ultimate, but nothing gets done to him afterwards.
The through space and time connected as well. Look at Renegade and Rob Diggity round the back for Tori Skies. Heart Bomb onto Tori. You can run away, but you can't hide. Explosion from the hearts. Rob Diggity gets a kill. El Chuckles gets a kill. KO looking for more, but he can't really find it against Avant-Garde. He can only throw out that cudgel so many times. It's not enough damage to take down anyone on Avant at this stage. The tier 1 tower should fall here. Idivine teleports himself through the wall. Looking to flank here, looking to get Unstable Vortex down. Great taunt there from Chuckles. KO knocked up, forced into the Somersault Cloud as well. Avant-Garde pressure down this right-hand side, maybe looking for a Phoenix.
Well, they pull in from Gruff onto the Ranabarana, but they're not looking at Ranabarana. They're just making sure KO doesn't try and get some sneaky engage behind the rest of the members of Avant-Garde. The rest of the members of the city, though, they're just splitting up. They're trying to secure their own farm as much as possible. It's pretty much just the backups at this point, and Gruff is invading those.
7,900 experience, 7,700 gold is the advantage for Avant-Garde. Pretty significant this point in the game, and very difficult for Alpha Sydney to call their way back into. They do have a Jingwei and a Cronus, so a little bit of a late game advantage there for Alpha Sydney, but you know, it's something we've said pretty much all this week. You know, you try and draft these late game compositions, but you're leaving it too late to get back into it.
I would like to see them pick up something like a Vulcan or something like a Ride Ship in the mid lane, but Ride Ship was banned away, unfortunately. So the Vulcan definitely would have been a pick I'd like to see just to give them some control and some pressure in the mid lane early on. But Idivine going aggressive onto Slicey, so let's try and take it out. Forces out the ambush and the Deathbane to get him away. So it kept slippery, but I think Giannis is just that bit harder to chase down.
Alright, Rob Diggity, Divine, and El Chuckles grouped up on the left-hand side. Chaos still pushing on the right as he's looking for the tower, but Swifty tries to rewind, can't find it though in the end, and does fall down. 4 members of Avant on the left-hand side. Gruff defending by himself on the right-hand side, the tier 2 tower there, but Avant-Garde have got a great push here. They can get a Phoenix here. All KO can get is a tower. KO and Ranabarana, I should say. Gruff now chasing after them. What he needs to do here is just prevent them from backing, give his team as much time as possible to take that Phoenix. Fields of Love used by Rob Diggity. Harp Bomb takes down Slicey. They should get this Phoenix here for free. And Gruff's doing a great job preventing KO and Ranabarana from backing here. Stops both of them backing. And Avant-Garde get the left-hand side Phoenix for free.
Alright, so that's the first Phoenix of the game taken down by Avant-Garde, but it's not the first time they're pressured up to the Phoenix line. Alpha City, they've got basically no farm to go ahead and take except for the minions in lane. Just the entirety of the jungle belongs to Avant-Garde at this point. Fire Giant could be a realistic call here in the next couple minutes for Avant-Garde, for them to then just push in and end the game. It's that much of a deficit at this point where Alpha City have to rely on mistakes from Avant-Garde, but they haven't made any this game.
It's a 10,000 experience, 9,000 gold deficit for Alpha City to try and fight their way back into. And I'm just taking a look at experience per minute because Slicey's very low. He's actually got the same experience as Tori's guys, if anything, a little bit lower. So that's definitely not what you want to see out of your jungler. It's just a very rough situation for Slicey this game ever since that first invade. Gold Fury falls down again to Avant-Garde. As you mentioned, could be looking for the Fire Giant here. I think they're just going to go back and grab some items, get a little bit of extra farm, and then head to that objective and then look to close out this game.
Well, there's a very nice objective in mid lane in Tori's Sky, so they're looking to burst this one down. Not going to be able to get the kill as he teleports away. And it's... when you're forced to use the inner ultimate defensively like that on yourself, it's not a good look. It's already forcing a major pressure ultimate out, which means that this Fire Giant just becomes a lot more realistic.
Slicey here all by himself, very far up on the right-hand side. Was doing their Liquid Renegade, read that perfectly, and found him on the other side of the blue buff. Slicey, though, manages to get away. A lot of mobility on that Circuit that can't really be matched by anyone other than the Janus. Ranabarana on the left-hand side, taken low by Idivine. Unstable Vortex clips him at the end of the dash away. Swifty forced to use the Purification and the Rewind as well. Nothing left for him here. Rogue Diggity, though, taunted away by Tori Skies. Swifty hiding in the mid lane, hiding between some walls here, but Idivine's here. Idivine's here to collect the blood money he's owed by Swifty. Swifty trying to stay alive for now. The Wisps come through from Gruff. Liquid Renegade should pick up the kill, but Idivine claims it with a shotgun blast out of the Unstable Vortex.
Alright, so 2 kills on the hyper carries there for Avant-Garde. They're going to push down mid lane. They don't even want Fire Giant. They want towers, they want Phoenixes, they want blood, they want the time, they want the win. And KO could be the first thing on that list, and he's going to be the blood.
He's taken some damage here, but more importantly, he's forced away from the tower here. Avant-Garde should get it. Slicey again, pushing here in the middle lane, just pushing out these ways, desperately trying to relieve as much pressure as he can, but he's got so little damage here, he can't really make that much of an impact. Tier 2 tower in the middle lane falls. Avant-Garde clearing out some more minions, and then I reckon they're going to head for the Fire Giant.
Just have a look at how much attack speed El Chuckles has got in his build. He's got the 20% from Ninja Tabai, 30% from Ickfile, and then another 10% coming off of that Wing Blade. It's already sitting at 2.1 when he uses that Mink form. It's a lot of attack speed for an Erlong Shen.
And as well as that, with the extra damage coming out from his spot weakness onto enemies, he doesn't need that much power in his build.
If he gets king size, he just basically two-shots people with basic attacks.
Alright, Fire Giant already below 25% HP. Liquid Renegade does have a Wrath online and uses it just to be extra super safe here in this game. Doesn't want any way whatsoever for Alpha Sydney to get back into it. And a Fire Giant steal, as well as providing them a nice buff with gold and experience, also helps them with their mentality. But Fire Giant falls down. Nothing left for Alpha Sydney on the board other than a red buff.
Alright, so I was talking about them with the Ninja Tabai looking to get king size in their build. El Chuckles has done that, and Liquid Renegade possibly not too far behind on his, already with the Frostbound Hammer with that Bologna. You need Frostbound Hammer on an Erlong Shen because of your spot wings providing you with a Fatalis effect. But with the Bologna Frostbound Hammer means it's going to be very difficult for Swifty and Rana Barana to deal with this Bologna pick.
Idivine knocked up by Rana Barana over on the left-hand side, but he's just trying to get himself to the lane to help Rob Diggity pressure this one out. 2 men in the middle lane for Avant as well, and Chuckles is on the right-hand side. Look at Slicey. He's up at the Phoenix line trying to defend minions here, trying to just, call off the pressure. Idivine uses the through space of time to get his team into the mid lane. Swifty uses the rewind to get out of the fields of love damage. McGruff blinks in, gets the ultimate down onto KO as Rana Barana knocked himself up already. There's a Somersault Cloud used as well, but the Purification was not burnt, from Rana Barana. But the Middle Phoenix is the target. El Chuckles gets the pin down onto Tory Skies. Middle Phoenix, the target here. Middle Phoenix about to fall down. Avant-Garde claim their second Phoenix of the game. Slicey's back. Slicey's trying to do some damage, but Slicey gets chunked by Idivine. Liquid Renegade looking for the final tick here to get the kill, but not to find it. Tory Skies takes the damage. Rana Barana takes even more from the Unstable Vortex. Left-hand side Phoenix is the target for Avant-Garde.
This one's going to fall down as well. Nothing Alpha City can do to defend this one. They have a lot of defensible ultimates, but it's only defensible for themselves to say can manage themselves, rewind the damage. And El Chuckles, he was wishing he could do that just about now, but he's got Fire Shine. He's got Sustain and Run Barana obliterated by that through space and time. Tory Skies is up on the menu, and everybody wants a piece of him.
KO looks to be the second course here. Doesn't have the Somersault Cloud available. Renegade takes him out, and now Avant-Garde looking for the main course here, which is the Titan. Rana Barana takes some damage. Swifty as well. All 5 members of Avant are relatively healthy thanks to that Sylvanas and that Cupid Titan. Already under 50% HP. Chuckles takes down Swifty and takes down all hope of Alpha Sydney winning this game. Game number 1 goes to Avant-Garde.
A couple weeks ago, these teams faced each other, and Alpha Sydney looked good. Avant-Garde looked a bit shaky there as well. Completely different showing from both these teams this set, as Avant-Garde could take that game in dominating fashion and really look like the split 2 champions, which they are.
Yesterday, we saw Alpha Sydney split with Team Pandemonium. And now they just get stomped on by Avant-Garde. Very different Alpha City to what we saw yesterday. All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with our final game of the week, Avant-Garde versus Alpha City number 2.